Let's dive into this game. And Todd, let's jump into a special edition of the Inside Scoop, looking at how the Broncos can beat the Colts.
All right, so I did a little bit of a film breakdown, the Colts versus the Patriots. And there were some good things the Patriots did on film that I felt like the Broncos could redo or even do better. Right here, this is the Colts playing defense. And what you'll see is that sometimes when you get like big personnel and, all right. Big personnel. Oh, okay. It's a little different this time. Let me go back. Okay, how do I get it to right?
I'm back up. I'm sorry.
You're good.
It should all be in the order that you sent me them.
No, it's in the order. I'm just trying to get it to right.
Oh, I do not know how to do that.
Oh, okay. Well, we'll make it shake. All right, so if you look at the right side, dang, there's no way to write on here. Okay, if you look on the right side, they're in like 12 personnel, so that's a bigger personnel than what you would call like your nickel, which is 11, which is one tight end, 3 receivers, and then you have the running back in the game. So when they get into like 12 personnel, which is bigger personnel, they don't always go to like a base, which is a 5-man front. Sometimes they stay in their nickel package, which is a 4-man front, 2 linebackers, and they keep the safeties in the game. If they do that, I think that gives us a good opportunity to get a hat on a hat in the box, but also allows our tight ends to work up to the safeties quickly and create some big running lanes. So if you see right here, they're kind of running like a trap. They're blocking down. The O-linemen are getting up on the linebackers very quickly. But the best block that I like is these 2 tight ends right here on the safety, number 20. And what they're able to do is they're able to take number 20 and run him all the way down and take out the linebacker and then create this big lane where nobody is able to come and flow to the front side of the play. I mean, you got 265 pounds with our tight ends versus 190. I'll take that matchup every time. And what that does is it leaves the running back on the corners one-on-one, and with all our corners, with all our running backs, whether it's Estime, Javante, even Jaleel, I picked them to be able to make somebody miss or break a tackle with a corner one-on-one, and this leads to a big play by the Patriots, and it's all because they chose to stay in their nickel personnel, and it's a favorable matchup for us to have our tight ends blocking safeties instead of trying to block linebackers or outside rushers.
Yeah, and that's exactly what you're looking for. And this is something that you can tell Sean Payton's going to be looking at.
Yeah, for sure. You got to take advantage of the things that they give you. So this is a way that I feel like they could, try to defend us or try to, beat us. So they do have 5 down, which is the Broncos will run a lot in their base personnel. They have 3 D linemen and 2 outside linebackers. That's our base personnel. And right now they're in 12 personnel. But what they're going to do with our pass rushers is they're going to try to make them think right here. So right now they love to pull Quentin Nelson, and he does a good job coming around and creating space when he pulls. But what you get is a double team on the front side, a block back, and then you get Quentin Nelson pulling up on the linebacker or safety. This double team is working to the backside linebacker, and they're going to try to make Nick Bonito and Jonathan Cooper slow their feet. They're going to make them think. And in this game, you really have to, because Taylor is a talented running back, but also their quarterback is very talented when he gets gets the ball in his hands. So they did a great job of, not handing the ball off. It's a one-on-one with the outside linebacker. He actually makes this guy miss, and he's able to get to the sideline. So for us, we have to be really diligent in doing our job, playing things slow before we go, because as an outside linebacker, you have a responsibility either to the quarterback or the running back, but there's no reason why you can't play it slowly, know where the ball is handed off, and then help your teammates if it goes to opposite of your responsibility.
And we've talked about how Nick Bonito is 10 sacks in the last 10 games, and he's just on an absolute tear. If he goes out and doesn't have a sack this game, that might not be because he had a bad game. It might be because he's told, look, we can't get beat in the run game, so you got to focus on that first, and then the pass game comes second, rushing the passer comes second. So this is going to be an interesting game when it comes to the stats. Broncos lead the NFL in sacks this week, or this year right now. But I wouldn't be surprised if the Broncos do intentionally slow those outside linebackers down and just say, man, we can't get beat on the ground, so make sure that's your number one responsibility.
It seems like that would help you contain, too.
Yeah.
Like with a mobile quarterback like Anthony Richardson, we're committing to that assignment. It's easier to keep him in the pocket.
Yeah, because the last thing you want to do is just like have your best pass rush move, and now you're too far upfield, and you're creating lanes in between Nick Bonito and Allen, and now he can escape. You don't want him escaping the pocket. You want everybody rushing together so that it creates a tight pocket that he can't get out of.
Yep.
All right. Next play. Sorry I can't write on him here for you guys. I think it would be helpful, but
it's inexcusable.
I know. I got to be better. So when they get into the red zone, that's when like all their tricks and gadgets start to come out. And what you'll see is that they like to do things very fast and get to empty very quickly. So you can see they're talking. If you look at the defense, a lot of them are still talking because as soon as they broke the huddle, they're ready to snap the ball. They got to empty very quickly, and they're running these mesh routes, which is, crossers coming across the formation to create confusion when you're in man coverage. Well, for the Broncos, I feel like it'd be a really good time to, as soon as they break the huddle and go to empty, we have an empty check that puts everybody in cover 4, cover 3, and pass off all these routes. Because not only do they pass the ball out of empty, they run the ball very well. But if you get into a cover 3, you can still stop the run. You can still have a safety down, but you're not worried about trying to figure out where Jonathan Taylor is versus all three of these, pass catchers, and the one coming from the backside. It makes it very tough, and they do it very quickly coming out the huddle. That's why he's so wide open. They weren't lined up. They weren't ready because it's like as soon as they break the huddle, first down, the ball is snapping, and they're running their play.
How often does that happen, Todd, where you have in specific game plans that check, where if someone's in empty, you're immediately going to that check?
Probably say at least half the year when you have like real threats at different positions, like at running back, at tight end. Like there's certain matchups that we don't want. Yeah. So if they get to empty, we know they're throwing the football and they're going to try to take advantage of one of these matchups. We're going to make an empty check. We're going to get to our assignment, and we're just going to live another day.
So this isn't a difficult or a confusing thing for the defense?
No, it's really easy to see. All right, so this is, one thing that I feel like we have to be cognizant of as a defense, because they like to run this trap play right here, and the trap means the guard is pulling and then trapping this tackle. So what's different about that is normally when the guard pulls, I can't write on this, your gap moves over. So you would move from having an A gap, now you have to move to the B gap because they're creating new gaps from the backside, so you have to move to be able to get to a new gap. Well, the thing about a trap is it looks the same visually, but to you, your gaps change. So instead of going back 53 and 48, if he was pulling normally, they want to go back to find their new gap. But because they're running a trap, they actually have to go front side to get their new gap. So they would actually have to go to the new A and then to the new C instead of actually going back. So this could be a very confusing play if you're not able to see it very quickly, because he needs, a foot of space to be able to just squirt through one of these gaps, pause, and then he's able to hit his head on the goalpost. And it's a really tough play if you're too worried about them pulling Quentin Nelson all game, which is what they like to do.
Is Quentin Nelson as good as he was hyped up to be before the draft?
The first couple of years, I feel like he was really good. I feel like, he's kind of settled down, and now he's just a solid guard. I wouldn't say he's like all world, like our big fella is, but, he's solid.
Yeah. So
is this the best guard, just off the top of your head, like one of the best challenges that Zach Allen and the interior defensive line is going to face? Yeah,
I think he's very agile. He's not stiff. Like he knows how to, bend corners. They like to pull him a lot. They like to get him out in space. He's able to block, linebackers and also D linemen. He's very agile for being, the size that he is.
Yeah.
All right, this is, another thing to remember. I talked to you about the red zone. Like the red zone, they get to empty very quickly, and a play is coming and a play is happening. So you need to be able to get into plays that make sense. So unfortunately, the Patriots here, they're in man, they stay in man, and what happens is you get the linebacker all the way out on Taylor, but it makes you weaker on the inside because now you have DBs, one linebacker, but it's mostly DBs and D linemen in the middle, and now Richardson is just going to run for the touchdown.
Yep.
So you got to be able to make that empty check. So we're good against the run. We keep our linebackers in the box. And then also against the pass, we can handle all the crosses. We can handle all the mesh routes. And we can be solid on both.
Man, it's such a good point. Before I didn't know what this play was going to be. And I knew just looking at the formation, this is exactly what they're going to try to do here is just power Anthony Richardson up the middle. Because what is it, the biggest quarterback in the NFL, and it might not even be close. 6'6", 6'5", 260 pounds or something crazy. I mean, I totally understand why you'd spread everyone out than just push him right up the middle.
Yeah, and
was that the 2-point conversion?
He's solid. No, I think this is a touchdown.
Okay, because they did it again for the 2-point conversion at the end to win it too.
Yeah, this was the touchdown.
Okay, which is
mid-game.
But this is like the Josh Allen stuff. This is what made early Josh Allen still tough to defend, even when like similar to Anthony Richardson, he couldn't complete a pass. But you empty it out and you can just run the ball up the middle. But when he does, he leads the NFL in yards for completion. And so it's that same like he isn't well rounded. In a lot of ways, it's like old school football.
Yeah,
where it's just like you're chucking it deep or you're taking advantage of the run up the middle. It just the Broncos haven't seen anything like this year. Like it's just a weird combination because maybe only Josh Allen is comparable, and he's added so much else to his game that it's there's some other differences.
Yeah,
but this whole like third downs, you just go empty and
because truly when you playing a normal quarterback, it's essentially like 11 on 10 because the quarterback is just the operator. He's going to throw the ball. He's going to get the ball out of his hands, or he's going to hand the ball off. He's not actually another player you have to account for. When they add another player, that allows them to have another lead blocker if it's going to be a running back, allows them to create more matchups because now it's truly 11 on 11, but most of the time our 11th player is a deep safety. So for him to get there to help, to be able to tackle a lot of these plays, he's so deep, it really creates, a mismatch for, a running quarterback.
Yeah.
All right, this is something I feel like our offense can do. Once again, I talked about how we can get in big personnel and they're going to stay in nickel. Well, if they stay in nickel, sometimes they have this nickel corner come in the game. He's the guy with the long hair right here. And because they're not getting in base personnel, it allows for one-on-one matchups on the front line and double teams be able to work to linebackers. But it also allows for you to get ours would be Burton, your fullback one-on-one with a nickel corner, which – you think about Burton versus Jaquan, those are two totally different players, and you don't really want them going head-to-head when you talk about the running game.
Yeah, from an offensive standpoint, you sign up for that every single time.
Exactly. So this is just a lead week. So you got a double team working here, the running back's getting the ball, and literally you have the fullback one-on-one with somebody that he easily has 50 pounds on, and you got the linemen working to the next level. So now your linebackers are fighting off O-linemen all game long. I feel like plays like this will be really beneficial to the Broncos because there's just seams. There's just a lot of seams because you get favorable matchups across the board, and it allows for them to take advantage of it and make big plays. So I think this will be another good play that the Broncos could run against this defense when they don't choose to go with their bigger personnel. When we get in 12, 21, which is 2 running backs, 1 tight end, we get in some of our bigger personnels, there are ways for us to really make plays in this game.
Yeah, I mean, just on that very initial setup of the play, that should be an automatic check to a run just like that. Todd.
Exactly. And the thing about it is they're doing it to be versatile and really defend against the pass. Well, every time you do that, we'll just get in, we'll just run the ball. And then when you go to your big personnel, okay, now we're going to check to a pass and see what your linebackers can do in space against our smaller receivers.
Yep, I love it. And Todd, let's pause right there.
All right, this is the last play I got for us. You're getting a single high look. The safety on the weak side is coming down. And when they walk their safety down, they really like to run man-to-man concepts, which is like, we call it hole, which is everybody has a man and there's one player in the hole in the middle of the field that can help on crosser routes, or they like to run cover 3 concepts. So if they're in cover 3, the right side of the or the left side of the field, as you look at it, there's a lot of opportunity for us to work these like bunch concepts because both their linebackers are told to give help to the inside receivers on both sides. So as the linebackers expand, what happens is if you're able to occupy, the linebacker with cheese in the middle, you're able to work wide receivers or other route runners right in behind the linebacker to make plays. And this other linebacker, because he's told to get with to protect on the right side, he doesn't have the ability to get with it and also come back to the football to be able to help on this pass, and it ends up being a completion right down the middle of the field. But if this is what they want to run and how they want to play us, I think this would be a good way to attack the backside of their defense.
I love that. And something else that I love when you said they like to match up just one-on-one man, that says Cortland Sutton to me. Just throw the ball to him and maybe even audible to a couple of those or hot route to Cortland on some of those because, I mean, they said it after the Broncos game or after the Raiders game. They said it after the Browns game. Man, if you're going to leave Cortland in those opportunities, we're going to capitalize on that and just keep going to him. So I really like that. You wonder if the Colts will change and not do that as much, especially in this game. They're going up against the Patriots. The Patriots don't like their receivers so much that reports are already coming out that they're going to give T. Higgins the moon or something, more than the moon in order to get him in free agency. You don't hear any reports coming out from Denver about that because they have their guy in Cortland Sutton. They might add a piece or two here or there, but so maybe the Colts did this a little bit more in this game because the Patriots don't have a receiver like Cortland. But if they give those looks, man, I'm taking advantage of that all day.
100%.
And that is the inside scoop. Love it as always, Todd.